It's ironic that it's so hard to get an EB-1A extraordinary green card for lawyers. I don't know why, but USCIS just seems to hate lawyers saying that they're extraordinary. But this case is not about lawyers, it's about an accountant, which is still another professional area. So I'm kind of sad that an accountant was able to get this EB-1A green card, but still haven't done a lawyer one. How does an accountant get an EB-1A green card? Let me share with you how. Hi everyone, my name is Joseph. I'm the managing partner here at Zhang Associates, where we solve legal problems with creative solutions. So this case started out as a normal EB-2 NIW case because the client was like, there's no way I qualify for the EB-1A. And we didn't think so either. I mean, he was an accountant at a big company, but he's an accountant. So we were just going down the route that he has an advanced degree and that he's going to come to the US to work on something really important, that he deserves a national interest waiver because of his expertise and the US needs it, so he qualifies for it. And then he was going to wait 5 years, 7 years, and then get this green card and the whole family come over, right? So that was the EB-2 NIW route. But in preparing this case, halfway through, I was like, yo, there is a slight possibility that you can try the EB-1A. And if you succeed, then you can immediately get the green card and your whole family can come now. But I'm not 100% sure, I just think you can. And then the client was like, and it's so funny because of the time difference. I'm always talking to this guy, just woke up like, what, okay, all right. Yeah, sure, do your thing. And then we're like, okay, we're gonna transition your entire EB-2 NIW case to an EB-1A case, right? So we started trying to match the criteria. And this is why I thought there was a slight possibility. He was part of a lot of organizations, and as an advisor and as an editor and as a key faculty of these organizations. So he wasn't just a member, right? He was one of the founders of these actuary sciences group in his home country. So we were able to argue that's considered a membership. It's not, yes, ordinary accountants all join and they all pay a fee and it's governed, but the people who are governing it, you need to be the top of the top, the best of the best in order to be the governing board to manage all these other accountants. And so we made that argument. So the membership was able to fly through the radar and get approved that way. He had 2 publications. Yeah, 2 is kind of weak, but we argue that he's an accountant. He's not a professor. He doesn't do normal, and he has these 2 theoretical pieces that he worked on when he was studying his master's and PhD, and then it accrued some citations. It wasn't a great argument, but we still made it just to try to meet the basic requirements, having 3 out of 10, just to try to do our best. Media publications, nope, he was an accountant. Nobody interviewed him about how his amazing theories worked. But we were able to get a lot of articles talking about his inventions. Now, you're saying, what kind of inventions can an accountant do? Well, the thing is, he worked at these big companies, and these big companies suffer from a lot of financial delay, right? A client wants something, and then the company needs to reimburse them. Sometimes it takes 2 weeks, sometimes it takes months in order to go through the whole financial transaction. He was able to create an algorithm internally within companies and between companies and subsidiaries so that when customers wanted refunds, it was able to be processed a lot faster. That is considered an invention. And it is actually quite important, in my opinion. It's important for the company so that there's no fraud, and it's important to the customer so that they get faster. I'm still really upset at my credit companies in the US. When I get a refund, it sometimes still takes me to the next statement. Why can't I just see it on my bank account now? Well, if he was here, he would have been able to do that for the US credit card companies, right? Visa, Right Master, Right American Express. So we argue that his invention was an original contribution to his companies and to the society, and how it was widely implemented and how it was so beneficial. So we had a lot of publications about that. Now, it wasn't about that invention specifically, but it's about how the company is rolling out these new programs where they're able to refund a lot faster and how consumers are really happy about it. How were they able to do that? His invention worked, his algorithm worked, his processes worked. And so even though he was an accountant just shuffling papers, dealing with numbers, he saw the company had these problems and he was able to come up with these solutions. And that was his one and biggest thing. We felt like it's beyond just a normal EB-2 NIW petition. It's beyond just he has an advanced degree and his work is really important to the US, and US companies would need to hire him, and it's hard to find somebody else that's like him. And even if a company is able to find somebody that is like him, it's not enough because you need more of people like him. So it was beyond just a national interest waiver argument. We were able to argue leading and critical role. We were able to argue original contribution and membership and publication. So there were like 4 things. One of them was kind of weak, but the last one one was a salary part. His salary was not low for his country. It's low for the US, but it was pretty good for his country. Now, normally I kind of shy away from the whole high salary argument because it kind of turns people off. You need to get a whole bunch of documents, and USCIS officers might be like, what, that's all you make? I mean, people in the US make way more than that. And you deserve a green card for making that amount? I mean, come on. And I was like, we could potentially do it. We have these 4 other good arguments. 3 of them seems passing, 1 of them seems weak, but if you're able to prove the high salary for yourself, then you will have a good chance. And you're an accountant, you do you. And then the client was like, okay, well, tell me how to prove my case. So we gave him samples and arguments and taught him, you need to compare yourself to other peers in your company, in your industry, in your country. How much do other people in your position make? Argue that you make double, triple what the ordinary people make. Argue that you make even more for somebody who's above you in a higher level position, right? Somebody who's a vice president, somebody who's a chief operating officer at other companies, and how you make more than them. So piece it together and prove it. We need all the documents, your tax returns, your bank statements, prove your paycheck, all of these things. So he went and got everything together. He audits for big companies all the time, thousands and thousands of pages, binders after binders. So doing it for himself was relatively easy. He got it to us within a month. It was this big stack proving conclusively that he has a high salary. We used that argument, we used it with everything else, we filed it, and the case was approved. The true takeaway from this case is that you need to be flexible, right? You need to be constantly creative and think outside the box. Normally, who would think a normal accountant would be able to apply for EB-1A? None of his friends got an EB-1A through this way. He was the only person, and originally, he was thinking about just doing a traditional EB-2 for a company to sponsor him and wait years and years, but he just felt like that was kind of slow, and so while he was researching, he found the EB-2 NIW route, and he thought he met the requirement, and so we started it on that route. But as a professional in working at his case, right, strategy is our domain. We feed the clients the different strategies. We tell them this is possible, but this is also possible, and this is possible, and this is how you do it. And if the client decides, yes, they want to do it, then it's our obligation to help them. We presented this opportunity to the client. And in that stupor, when he just woke up, he decided to go. We spent a few weeks converting the entire case over. Normally, a EB-2 NIW case, it's a lot simpler, but we were trying to go overboard. That's just what we do. We converted a lot of it to the EB-1A, and then we filed it, and it was approved. And so I'm very happy about this case. I'm still shocked. It's just one of those things, right? An accountant got an EB-1A green card, but how come lawyers can't, right? I still haven't done a lawyer EB-1A case. I know a few exist out there, but generally USCIS is just so critical on lawyers claiming that they're extraordinary. So if you're a lawyer or you're a professional in any capacity, if you think you deserve an EB-1A or thinking about your NIW, would love to chat with you. All right, take care. Bye-bye.